Lessons learned at 98. My friend, let me ask you something profound, something that will make you think. If you were lying on your deathbed at 98 years old, looking back at your entire life, what would you regret? What would you wish you had known at 25, at 30, at 40? John D. Rockefeller faced exactly this moment. The richest man in history, worth $400 billion in today's dollars. 98 years of life, unimaginable wealth, unprecedented power. And yet, at the end, he had regrets. Deep regrets. Things he wished he had understood earlier. Lessons he learned too late. Today, you're going to learn those 7 lessons. Not at 98, not when it's too late, but right now, while you still have time, while you can still change everything. This isn't just about money. This is about life, about what truly matters, about the wisdom that comes only at the end, unless you learn it now. Are you ready? Because these 7 lessons will change how you see everything: success, wealth, happiness, life itself. The richest man's biggest regrets. Picture this: 1937. John D. Rockefeller is 98 years old, sitting in his estate, looking back at nearly a century of life. He built Standard Oil. He controlled 90% of America's oil. He became the first billionaire. He accumulated wealth beyond imagination. But here's what most people don't know. In his final years, Rockefeller gave hundreds of interviews, wrote letters, reflected deeply, and in those reflections, patterns emerged. 7 specific things he said he wished he had known earlier. 7 lessons he learned too late. 7 regrets that haunted even the richest man in history. These weren't about business strategies, not about oil prices, not about investment returns. These were about life, about what he sacrificed, about what he missed, about what he finally understood, but only when most of his life was already gone. Poor people think success is about making money. Rich people learn that success is about living fully. Poor people chase wealth and miss life. Rich people eventually realize wealth means nothing without the rest. And Rockefeller? He spent the first 60 years chasing wealth, and the last 38 years wishing he had chased life. Why this matters to you right now? You might be thinking, but I'm not a billionaire. I'm not 98. Why should I care about an old rich man's regrets? Here's why, my friend. Because you don't have to make his mistakes. You don't have to learn these lessons at 98. You can learn them now, today, while you still have time. Rockefeller had 98 years. You might have 50 left, or 40, or 30, or who knows how many. But whatever time you have, you can use it better than he did. Because here's the truth. Rockefeller would have given everything, every dollar, every possession, every piece of his empire, to go back to your age, to start over with the wisdom he finally gained. He couldn't do that. But you can use his wisdom now. You can avoid his regrets. You can live the full life he missed while chasing wealth. The 7 Lessons. Preview. Before we dive deep into each lesson, let me give you a preview. 7 things Rockefeller wished he had known at your age. Lesson 1. Health cannot be bought, but without money, it cannot be maintained. Lesson 2. Family and relationships matter more than business. Lesson 3. It's not about saving money, it's about spending meaningfully. Lesson 4. End conflicts early. Grudges destroy years of life. Lesson 5. I would give all my fortune to be young again. Lesson 6. Give while you're alive, not after you're dead. Lesson 7. Never sacrifice inner peace for outer success. 7 lessons, 7 regrets, 7 opportunities for you to do better, to live fuller, to avoid the mistakes of the richest man in history. Each lesson comes with his story, his specific regret, his exact words, and most importantly, how you can apply it starting today. The paradox of Rockefeller's life. Let me tell you the paradox that defined Rockefeller's existence. First 60 years, worked obsessively, built empire, accumulated wealth, sacrificed everything for business, became richest man alive, but was stressed, sick, unhappy, alone. Last 38 years, stopped working, gave money away, focused on family, found peace, discovered meaning, lived simply, and finally became happy. Think about that. The richest man in history was only happy when he stopped chasing riches, when he stopped working, when he started giving instead of getting. He spent 60 years becoming wealthy, and 38 years learning that wealth wasn't the point. This is the tragedy. This is the lesson. This is what he wished he had understood decades earlier. Poor people think, if only I had money, I'd be happy. Rich people eventually learn, money didn't make me happy. Living well did. Poor people chase dollars. Rich people eventually chase meaning. If this is resonating with you, my friend, if you're feeling something right now, if this is making you think, making you question, making you reconsider your priorities, I need you to do something. Hit that like button and subscribe to this channel, because this community isn't just about making money. It's about living fully. It's about building wealth without losing life. We're creating a movement of people who want success and happiness, wealth and health, money and meaning. Everything Rockefeller eventually learned, but learned at 98 instead of 30. You're going to learn it now, while you have time, while you can still apply it, while you can still build the full life that Rockefeller missed. So subscribe, turn on notifications, because these 7 lessons will transform not just your finances, but your entire life. What makes these lessons different? You've probably heard success advice before. Work hard, save money, invest wisely, build wealth. We've covered that in other videos. That's important. But this is different. This is deeper. This is about the things that money can't fix, the mistakes that wealth can't undo, the regrets that billions can't erase. Rockefeller had everything money could buy, literally everything. The best doctors, the finest food, the most luxurious homes, unlimited resources. But he couldn't buy back his health. He couldn't buy back time with his children. He couldn't buy back his youth. He couldn't buy back the peaceful nights he spent worrying about business. These 7 lessons are about the things money can't solve, the things success can't fix, the things you must get right the first time, because there are no second chances. The man behind the money. Before we start, you need to understand who Rockefeller was. Not just the rich man, the actual human being. Born 1839, poor family. Worked from age 16, saved obsessively. Started business at 20. Built Standard Oil through his 20s and 30s. Became millionaire by 30. Dominated oil industry by 40. Became first billionaire by 50. First 50 years, unstoppable success. Relentless work. Total focus on business. Built the largest fortune in history. But also, constant stress. Severe health problems. Digestive issues. Insomnia. Nearly died at 53. Looked 80 at age 50. Barely saw his family. Made many enemies. Lived in anxiety. Then, after 50, retired from daily business. Focused on health. Spent time with family. Started giving money away. Learned to relax. Found peace. Actually started enjoying life. And lived to 98. The last half of his life was longer than most people's entire lives. And that's when he learned what really mattered. The cost of success. Here's what Rockefeller paid for his success. The real cost. Not in dollars, in life. His 20s. Worked 16-hour days. No social life. No hobbies. No fun. All business. His 30s. Built empire. Made millions. But developed severe health issues. Stress destroyed his digestion. Could barely eat. His 40s. Richest man in America, but looked ancient. Couldn't sleep. stomach pain constantly, losing hair from stress. His 50s, nearly died, lost all his hair, could only eat milk and crackers. The richest man alive, eating like a poor child, living in constant discomfort. This is the price he paid. And at 98, looking back, he said clearly, "Not worth it. I would trade it all to have done it differently." Your advantage. But here's your advantage, my friend. You don't have to learn this at 98. You're learning it now, today, in the next hour. You can build wealth without sacrificing health. You can have success without losing family. You can make money without losing meaning. You can achieve without sacrificing peace. Rockefeller didn't know this was possible. He thought you had to choose success or happiness, wealth or health, business or family. But you know better, because you're learning from his mistakes. You're standing on his shoulders. You're getting the wisdom without paying the price. This is the gift. This is the opportunity. This is why these 7 lessons matter so much. What's coming next? In the following chapters, we'll break down each lesson completely, each regret deeply, each opportunity clearly. You'll learn exactly what Rockefeller did wrong, what he wished he had done instead, and most importantly, how you can apply this wisdom starting today. These aren't just stories. These aren't just history. These are actionable lessons, specific strategies, practical applications for your life right now. By the end, you'll have a complete framework, a way to build wealth without sacrificing life, a path to success that doesn't require giving up everything else. Rockefeller spent 60 years learning these lessons the hard way. You'll learn them in the next chapters, and you can start applying them immediately. The first glimpse. Let me give you the first glimpse, the overarching theme of all 7 lessons. Rockefeller's biggest regret wasn't about money, wasn't about business decisions, wasn't about investments or deals or strategies. His biggest regret was this: I spent my life building an empire, and I forgot to build a life. That's it. That's the core. That's what everything else stems from. He built wealth, but not wellness. He built success, but not satisfaction. He built an empire, but not enjoyment. He built a legacy, but missed his life. And at 98, with all the time to reflect, he finally understood. The point wasn't the empire. The point was the life. The empire was supposed to serve the life, not consume it. Poor people sacrifice everything for survival. Rich people sacrifice everything for success. Wise people build success without sacrificing everything. Rockefeller became wise, but only at 98. Only after 60 years of living wrong. Only after it was too late to go back. You're becoming wise now, right now, today, and you have time to live it. Your decision right now. So here's where you are, my friend, at a crossroads, a moment of decision. You can live like young Rockefeller, chase wealth, sacrifice health, ignore family, work endlessly, build success, and maybe at 98, if you make it that far, finally understand what mattered. Or you can learn from old Rockefeller, build wealth wisely, protect health carefully, nurture family constantly, work meaningfully, balance everything, and live fully from today onward. Same opportunity to build wealth, but completely different approach, completely different result, completely different life. One path leads to regrets at 98. The other path leads to fulfillment throughout. Which path will you choose? The 7 lessons await. The next 7 chapters will give you everything, every lesson, every regret, every piece of wisdom that Rockefeller took 98 years to learn. You'll learn about health and why the richest man could barely eat, about family and the years he lost with his children, about money and why having it all meant nothing, about conflicts and the price of being right, about youth and what he'd pay to have it back, about giving and why he waited so long, about peace and when he finally found it. 7 chapters, 7 lessons, 7 opportunities to live better than the richest man in history. Are you ready? Because this isn't just about success anymore. This is about life, full life, complete life, the life Rockefeller missed while chasing success. Let's begin. Let's learn. Let's live. Health cannot be bought, but without money, it cannot be maintained. Listen carefully, my friend, because this first lesson might save your life, literally. Rockefeller learned this lesson the hardest way possible. At 53 years old, the richest man in America, he looked in the mirror and saw an old man, bald, skeletal, pale, sick. His doctors gave him 1 year to live, 1 year, all the money in the world, and 1 year left. That moment changed everything. That moment taught him what 30 years of success hadn't. Health is everything. Without it, nothing else matters. Today, you're going to learn this lesson without nearly dying, without losing your hair, without spending decades in pain. You're going to learn it now, while you still have time to protect what matters most. The breaking point, age 53. Let me paint the picture. 1892. John D. Rockefeller is 53 years old. He controls 90% of America's oil. He's worth tens of millions, equivalent to billions today. He has everything money can buy. But look at him. Really look at him. He's completely bald. Not a single hair on his head, eyebrows gone, eyelashes gone. Total alopecia from stress. He weighs 130 pounds, skeletal for his height. His skin is gray. His eyes are hollow. He can't digest normal food. His stomach is destroyed from stress and anxiety. He eats milk and crackers. That's it, milk and crackers. The richest man in America eating like a poor infant. He can't sleep, lies awake worrying about business, about competitors, about regulations, about everything. Night after night, month after month, year after year. His doctor's verdict? If you don't stop working immediately, you'll be dead within a year. Your body is shutting down. Nothing can save you except complete rest. The richest man in the world, given a death sentence, because he sacrificed health for wealth. The 30-year mistake. But here's the real tragedy. This didn't happen overnight. This was 30 years in the making. 30 years of systematic self-destruction. Age 20 to 30, worked 16-hour days, every single day. No weekends, no vacations, no rest. Eating poorly, sleeping little, stress constantly. Building Standard Oil, building wealth, destroying health. Age 30-40, even worse. More pressure, more competition, more lawsuits, more stress. Eating at his desk, skipping meals, stomach problems starting. Ignored them, kept working. Age 40 to 50, health declining rapidly, digestive issues severe, can't eat most foods, insomnia chronic, hair falling out. Doctors warning him. He ignored them. After this deal, after this acquisition, after I secure the monopoly, always after, never now, never stop, never rest, until his body said, stop or die. Poor people sacrifice health for survival. Rich people sacrifice health for success. Wise people protect health while building success. Rockefeller was rich but not wise. Not yet. Not until nearly dying taught him what he lost. Let me tell you exactly what Rockefeller lost by destroying his health. The real cost, not in money, in life. He couldn't enjoy food for decades. Think about that. One of life's basic pleasures, completely gone. He watched others eat steak, vegetables, desserts. He ate crackers and milk every single day. He couldn't travel comfortably. His stomach issues made long journeys miserable. He had the money to go anywhere, but not the health to enjoy it. He couldn't play with his children. Too weak, too tired, too sick. They'd run and play. He'd watch from a chair. The richest father, the absent father. He lived in constant discomfort, pain, nausea, exhaustion, every day, for years. With all the money in the world, he couldn't buy one comfortable day. And here's what he said at 98, looking back. I would give every dollar I ever made to have my health back in my 30s and 40s. I would trade it all for the ability to eat a normal meal, to sleep through one night, to feel good for one day. Think about that. The richest man in history would trade it all for something you have right now, the ability to eat, to sleep, to feel good, to be healthy. The paradox of wealth and health. Here's the paradox Rockefeller learned too late. The cruel irony that defined his life. To build wealth, he destroyed health. Working obsessively, stressing constantly, ignoring his body, pushing through pain, sacrificing rest, all to become rich. Then, once rich, he spent the rest of his life and enormous amounts of that wealth trying to buy health back. The best doctors, the finest treatments, special diets, custom medications, rest cures, everything money could buy. But health doesn't work that way. You can't destroy it for 30 years and then buy it back. Some damage is permanent. Some time is lost forever. Some choices can't be undone. He spent 30 years trading health for wealth, then spent 45 years trying to trade wealth back for health, and never fully succeeded. This is the lesson. Protect health first, build wealth second, because without health, wealth is worthless. But with health, even modest wealth is enough. What he wished he had known at 25. Rockefeller gave an interview at 95, 3 years before his death. The interviewer asked, "If you could go back to age 25, what would you do differently?" His answer, "I would work half as much. I would worry none at all. I would walk every day. I would eat proper meals at proper times. I would sleep full nights. I would take vacations. I would spend time in nature. I would protect my health as my most valuable asset." Then he said something powerful. "I could have built 80% of the wealth I built while maintaining 100% of my health. I didn't need to sacrifice everything. I chose to, out of ignorance. And I paid for that ignorance with decades of suffering. 80% of the wealth, 100% of the health. That was possible. That was the path he missed. That was the wisdom he learned 70 years too late. The science he didn't know. Here's what modern science has proven, what Rockefeller didn't know, what you need to know right now. Chronic stress destroys your body systematically. Cortisol damages digestive system, Rockefeller's stomach issues. Stress hormones cause hair loss, his total baldness. Anxiety disrupts sleep, his insomnia. Inflammation weakens immunity, his constant illness. Tension causes chronic pain, his daily suffering. This isn't mysterious. This is biology. Your body wasn't designed for chronic stress. It was designed for occasional acute stress followed by rest and recovery. Rockefeller lived in chronic stress for 30 years, never resting, never recovering, just constant pressure. His body broke down, predictably, preventably. But he didn't know, or didn't care, or thought he was invincible, until he wasn't. You know now. You have the science. You have the warning. You have the chance to do it differently. The turning point, choosing life. Age 53, death sentence. 1 year to live. What did Rockefeller do? He stopped. Completely. Immediately. No more daily operations. No more stressful decisions. No more 16-hour days. He hired people to run his businesses. He stepped back. He chose life over work. And something miraculous happened. He didn't die in 1 year. He lived 45 more years. 45. He made it to 98. Why? Because he finally stopped destroying his health, finally let his body heal, finally prioritized wellness over wealth. Those last 45 years, he followed strict rules. Daily walks, 1 hour minimum. Early to bed, early to rise. Consistent sleep. Simple, careful diet, listening to his body. No business stress, completely delegated. Time in nature, gardens, outdoors. Meditation and prayer, inner peace. Careful, moderate exercise. Golf became his passion. And slowly, gradually, his health improved. Not back to perfect. The damage was done. But better, manageable, comfortable enough to enjoy life. He lived to 98, but he always said, "I wish I had lived this way from 25. I would have lived to 98 in much better health, and enjoyed 73 years instead of just 45. The real wealth, health plus money. Now here's the balanced truth, the complete lesson. Not just health matters, but the full wisdom. Health without money is difficult. You can't afford good food, quality health care, safe living conditions, preventive care, health management. You survive, but struggle. Money without health is meaningless. You can buy anything but can't enjoy it, travel but suffer, eat fine food but can't digest it, have everything but feel nothing. Health plus money? That's real wealth. That's the goal. That's what Rockefeller wished he had understood. The lesson isn't don't work hard. It's work smart. Build wealth, yes, but protect health always. They're not opposites. They're partners. You need both. You can have both, but only if you're intentional. Poor people often sacrifice health because they must. Survival demands it. Rich people often sacrifice health because they choose to. Ambition demands it. Wise people build wealth while protecting health. Wisdom demands it. Your health investment strategy. So here's what Rockefeller wished he had done at your age. His exact recommendations from later interviews and writings. Daily non-negotiables. 7 to 8 hours sleep, not 4 to 5 like he did. 3 proper meals, not skipping meals, eating at desk. 30 to 60 minutes exercise, walking minimum. Stress management practice, meditation, prayer, nature. Regular medical checkups, preventive, not just reactive. Weekly essentials. 1 full day of rest, no work, complete break. Time with loved ones, not just work colleagues. Hobby or recreation, something purely for joy. Nature exposure, outdoors, fresh air, sunlight. Monthly musts. Health assessment, check in with your body. Stress audit, what's causing anxiety? Address it. Social connection, friends, family, community. Fun and laughter, not everything is serious. Yearly absolutes. Complete medical checkup, full physical. Vacation, real. Rest, not working remotely. Life evaluation, am I balanced, happy, healthy? Course corrections, what needs to change? This isn't complicated, this isn't time-consuming, but Rockefeller ignored all of it for 30 years and paid dearly. The warning signs he ignored. Let me tell you the specific warnings Rockefeller ignored, so you don't ignore them too. Warning 1. Digestive issues. Started in his 30s, occasional stomach pain, indigestion. He ignored it. Kept eating poorly, working through meals. By his 40s, couldn't digest most foods. Warning 2. Sleep problems. Started in his 30s, occasional insomnia, lying awake worrying. He pushed through, kept stressing. By his 40s, couldn't sleep without medication. Warning 3. Hair loss. Started in his 40s. Thinning hair, receding, stress-related. He ignored it, kept working. By 50, completely bald, total alopecia. Warning 4. Constant fatigue. Always tired, never refreshed. Pushing through exhaustion. He thought it was normal. It wasn't. It was his body screaming for rest. Warning 5. Frequent illness, colds, infections, always sick, weak immunity. He ignored it, kept working. His body couldn't defend itself anymore. Every single one was preventable. Every single one was reversible, if caught early. But he ignored them all, until nearly dying forced him to listen. Your body talks to you. Are you listening or ignoring like young Rockefeller? The cost-benefit reality. Here's the math Rockefeller wishes he had done at 25, the real calculation, the honest numbers. Scenario A, what he did. Work 16 hours daily for 30 years, sacrifice all health, family, peace. Build $400 billion fortune in today's money. Spend 30 years sick, suffering, missing life. Live 98 years, 53 building wealth, 45 recovering health. Overall, massive wealth, decades of suffering. Scenario B, what he wished he did. Work 8 to 10 hours daily for 40 years. Protect health, nurture family, maintain peace. Build $300 billion fortune, still unimaginable wealth. Enjoy health throughout life. Live 98 years, all spent in wellness and joy. Overall, still massive wealth, zero unnecessary suffering. The difference? $100 billion, about 25% less wealth, but 100% more health, 100% more enjoyment, 100% more life actually lived. He'd make that trade instantly. He said so explicitly. I'd give $100 billion to have been healthy my whole life, without hesitation. Would you take $300 billion and health, or $400 billion and sickness? The choice seems obvious now, but young Rockefeller chose wrong. Don't make his mistake. Starting today, your health audit. Right now, stop and check in with your body. Honestly, no judgment, just assessment. Ask yourself, am I sleeping 7 to 8 hours nightly? If no, why not? Am I eating proper meals or skipping, rushing, eating junk? Do I exercise regularly or constantly too busy? Do I have chronic pain, tension, discomfort I'm ignoring? Am I stressed constantly, anxious, overwhelmed? When was my last health checkup? Last year? Years ago? Never? These answers tell you everything. They told Rockefeller everything, but he didn't ask until too late. You're asking now, while there's time, while changes matter, while prevention works. The Rockefeller Health Commitment. At 53, facing death, Rockefeller made a commitment, a vow, a promise to himself. If he survived, he would never sacrifice health again. Never. And he kept that promise for 45 years until he died at 98. And those 45 years, he said, were the best of his life. Not the richest years, the best years, because he finally felt good, finally enjoyed life, finally had health. Now, my friend, it's your turn. Make the commitment he wishes he had made at 25, not 53. Make it now, today, this moment. Commit to health first, wealth second, both together, never sacrificing one for the other, building success without destroying your body, creating wealth while maintaining wellness. This is the first lesson, the foundation lesson, the one everything else builds on. Because without health, nothing else matters. Not wealth, not success, not achievement. Nothing. Rockefeller learned this at 53, nearly dead. You're learning it now, still healthy, still able to protect what you have. That's the gift. That's the opportunity. That's the lesson he wished someone had taught him 70 years earlier. Family and relationships matter more than business. Now we come to Rockefeller's second great regret, my friend, and this one haunted him for decades. At 98, reflecting on his life, he said something heartbreaking. I was the richest man in the world, but I missed my children growing up. I can't get those years back, not for all the money I made. The man who had everything couldn't buy back one childhood moment with his kids, couldn't purchase one missed dinner, couldn't recover one lost conversation. Time with family, once gone, is gone forever. The absent father. Let me tell you about Rockefeller, the father. Not Rockefeller, the businessman, the man behind the empire. He had 4 daughters and 1 son, 5 children, beautiful family, loving wife. But he was rarely there, rarely present, rarely engaged. His typical day in his 30s and 40s, leave house at 6 a.m., return at 9 p.m., children already asleep. See them briefly on Sunday, maybe, if no business emergency, which there always was. His daughter Alta wrote in her diary, "Papa was home today. It felt like meeting a stranger. He asked about school. I didn't know what to say. I don't really know him." A stranger. His own daughter called him a stranger. The richest father in America, a stranger to his children. His son, John Jr., later said, "I wanted my father's time, not his money. I would have traded every dollar for one day of his attention, but he never understood that until much later." One day of attention. That's all the boy wanted. And his father was too busy building Standard Oil to give it. The moments he missed. Here's what Rockefeller missed while building his empire. The specific moments, the irreplaceable memories. First steps. He was negotiating oil deals while his children learned to walk. His wife sent telegrams, "Alta walked today." He was in meetings, couldn't come home, missed it. First words. At the office while his kids learned to speak. Papa was a word they said to a photograph more than to a person. School plays, birthday parties, holiday celebrations. Always, sorry, business. Always, next time. But next time, they were older, different. The moment was gone. His daughter Edith's wedding. He was there physically, but mentally reviewing a business contract. She noticed. Everyone noticed. He was present, but absent. Years later, at 80, he told his grandson, "I can recite every oil deal I made in the 1880s, every contract, every price, perfect memory. But I can't remember my children's childhood. I wasn't there for it. And now it's like it never happened, except I know it did. I just missed it." The patient wife. Let me tell you about Laura Spelman Rockefeller, his wife, the woman who held everything together while he built his empire. She raised 5 children essentially alone, managed the household, made every decision, attended every event, provided all the emotional support while he worked. She never complained, publicly. But in private letters to her sister, she wrote, "I married a good man, but I live with a ghost. He's here but not here. His mind is always at the office. His heart is in the business. I have his name, but not his presence. She died in 1915. Rockefeller was 76, and at her funeral he broke down, completely, sobbing, because he finally realized what he'd taken for granted, who he'd neglected, what he'd lost. He told his son, "Your mother deserved a better husband, not a richer one, a present one, an attentive one, a loving one. I gave her wealth. She deserved love. I failed her. Every day for 50 years, I failed her." Poor people often neglect family because they must work to survive. Rich people often neglect family because they choose work over presence. Wise people build success without abandoning the people who matter most. The turning point, age 60. At 60, Rockefeller finally retired from daily business. His son took over. And for the first time in 40 years, he had time. Time for family. Time for relationships. Time to actually be present. And he discovered something wonderful and terrible simultaneously. Wonderful. His family still wanted him, still welcomed him, still loved him despite his absence. Terrible. He'd wasted 40 years, missed so much, could never get it back. He spent his 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s trying to make up for lost time, playing with grandchildren, having long conversations with his children, writing letters, sharing wisdom, being present. His grandchildren adored him. They knew the warm, present, engaged grandfather, not the cold, absent, busy father his children had known. He told them, "I'm the grandfather I wish I'd been as a father. I'm giving you the time I should have given your parents. I can't undo the past, but I can do better now." Better late than never? Yes, but earlier would have been better, much better, and he knew it. What he wished he'd done differently. In interviews between ages 90 to 98, Rockefeller specifically detailed what he would change about his family life if he could do it over. Daily, dinner with family, every night, no exceptions, no matter what business demanded. An hour at dinner would have cost me nothing, would have given them everything. Weekly, full Sunday with family, no work, no business thoughts, complete presence. One day a week fully present would have transformed our relationships. Monthly, special family activity, trip, experience, memory. Memories matter more than money. I made billions, but few memories with my children. Yearly, extended family vacation, 2 weeks minimum, no business contact, just family. 2 weeks yearly for 30 years would have been 60 weeks, just over 1 year total. I would trade 1 year of work for a lifetime of memories. The math is simple. The choice seems obvious now, but he chose work every time, until the choice was no longer available, until his children were grown, until the time was gone. The children's perspective. Let me tell you what his children said later in life, when asked about their famous father. Alta. We had everything except him. Every material advantage, every opportunity. But we wanted Dad, just Dad, present, engaged, ours. Edith. I used to pray he'd come to my school play, just once. He never did. I stopped praying. I stopped expecting. I learned to not need him. That's sad. A daughter shouldn't have to not need her father. John Jr. He taught me business through absence. Don't do what I did, he'd say later, but by then I was already doing what he did, repeating his mistakes, missing my own children while building my career. The pattern repeats. The absent father raises an absent father. Unless someone breaks the cycle, unless someone learns the lesson, unless someone chooses differently. The relationship investment strategy. Here's what Rockefeller wished he'd understood at 25. The real investment strategy. Not for stocks, for relationships. Time is the currency of love. You can't love people without spending time with them. No exceptions, no shortcuts. Time is how love is expressed, received, and grown. Quality and quantity both matter. Not just quality time, quantity time, lots of time, regular time, consistent time. Relationships need both. Presence beats presence. Your children don't need more toys, they need you. Your partner doesn't need more jewelry, they need your attention. Gifts without presence are empty. You can't make up for lost time, only prevent more loss. Every moment missed is gone forever. But every moment from now on is an opportunity. Business is infinite. Family is finite. There will always be another deal, another opportunity, another client. But your child's childhood happens once. Your parents' life happens once. Your partner's needs exist now. These principles seem obvious, but Rockefeller ignored them for decades. Most people do, until regret teaches them, until loss makes it clear, until it's too late. Your family audit right now. Stop and ask yourself honestly, my friend, where are you? Your parents. When did you last have a real conversation? Not a quick call, a real talk. Are you waiting until later to invest time? They're aging. Later might be too late. Your partner. Are you present or physically there but mentally absent? Do you prioritize work over them? Do they feel like your priority or your obligation? Your children. If you have them, are you there? Really there? Or are you repeating Rockefeller's mistake, missing the moments that matter, being the parent who's always too busy? Your siblings, friends, loved ones, are you maintaining these relationships or letting them fade because work is demanding? Life is demanding. Relationships still matter. These questions hurt. They should, because honest answers reveal truth, and truth creates change, if you let it. It's not about saving money. It's about spending meaningfully. Rockefeller's third lesson is paradoxical, ironic, almost funny. The richest man in history wished he'd spent more money. Not on luxury, not on excess, not on stuff, on experiences, on meaning, on joy, on life. The penny-pinching billionaire. Let me tell you about Rockefeller's relationship with spending. It was absurd, almost pathological, even when he had billions. He famously negotiated over nickels. A bag of peanuts cost 10 cents. He'd argue it should be 5 cents, and win. Then go home to his mansion worth millions. He wore the same suits for years, patched, mended, outdated. His wife begged him to buy new ones. "These still work," he'd say. The richest man in America, looking shabby. He refused to take taxis when he could walk. Good for health, yes, but sometimes you're late. Sometimes weather is terrible. Sometimes comfort matters. He walked anyway, saving pennies while possessing billions. His children lived modestly despite massive wealth. He gave them small allowances, taught them frugality, which is good, but taken to an extreme that bordered on deprivation. Why? Because building wealth meant saving everything, not spending, never spending. That's how he got rich, and he couldn't stop, even when the game was won, even when saving made no sense, even when life was passing by. what he missed. Here's what Rockefeller's extreme frugality cost him. Not in money, in life. Travel. He could afford to see the world. Paris, London, Egypt, Japan. He didn't go. Waste of money, he thought. He died at 98, having barely left America. The world passed him by. Experiences. Theater, concerts, fine dining, cultural events. He skipped them all. Unnecessary expenses. But these create memories, memories he never made. Comfort. He could have made life easier, more comfortable, more enjoyable. Better chairs, warmer rooms, softer beds. He chose discomfort to save money he'd never spend. Generosity. He could have been generous earlier, treated people, celebrated occasions, created joy for others. He waited decades to start giving, decades of opportunities missed. At 70, he finally started spending on meaningful things, philanthropy, family experiences, creating memories. And he said, I should have started at 30, 40 years wasted, billions saved for no reason while life happened without me. The shift, discovering giving. At 60, something changed. Rockefeller met Frederick Gates, a minister who became his philanthropic advisor. Gates told him something transformative. Your money is worthless unless it does something meaningful. That sentence changed everything. Rockefeller realized he'd spent his life accumulating wealth, but wealth sitting in accounts does nothing, creates nothing, helps no one. It's just numbers. So he started giving, massively, strategically, meaningfully. He founded University of Chicago, Rockefeller University, funded medical research that saved millions of lives, built schools, libraries, hospitals, invested in human progress. Total giving, over $550 million in his lifetime, equivalent to $15+ billion today. This is after building his fortune. Imagine if he'd started at 40 instead of 60. 20 more years of impact. But better late than never. And the giving made him happier than the accumulating ever did. He said, making my first billion brought me satisfaction. Giving it away brought me joy. I wish I'd known the difference 40 years earlier. The balance. Save and spend. Here's the wisdom Rockefeller finally learned. The complete lesson. Not just save, not just spend. Both. Balanced. Intentional. Save for security, for investment, for growth, for future. This matters. This is wise. Rockefeller was right about this. But spend for life, for experience, for memory, for joy, for meaning. This matters equally. Rockefeller was wrong to ignore this. The goal isn't to die with the most money. The goal is to live the best life. And living requires spending on the right things, at the right times, for the right reasons. Poor people often can't save because survival demands spending. Rich people often won't spend because accumulation becomes the goal. Wise people save and spend in balance, investing in both security and life. What to spend money on. Rockefeller's advice from his 90s, looking back, on what's worth spending money on. Health. Don't be cheap with health. Best food, quality care, preventive treatment, fitness. This is the foundation. Spending here is investing in everything else. Education. Your own, your children's, anyone's. Education is never wasted. Knowledge compounds forever. Don't skimp here. Experiences. Travel, adventures, memories. These don't depreciate. They appreciate. They become stories, connections, growth. Spend here. Relationships, celebrations, gifts that matter, experiences together. Don't let cheapness damage relationships. Money spent on love is never wasted. Time. Buy back time. Services that free you. Tools that save hours. Time is the only resource you can't make more of. Spend money to preserve time. Meaning. Causes you care about. Help you can provide. Impact you can make. This is what wealth is for. Not hoarding, helping. These 6 categories deserve investment, generous investment, because they create life, real life, full life, the life Rockefeller missed while hoarding billions. The experiences he regretted missing. Let me be specific. Things Rockefeller could have done but didn't, then regretted forever. Never saw the Grand Canyon. Could have, didn't. Too expensive, he thought. He died with billions. Never saw one of America's wonders. Never attended a major cultural event in his prime. Opera, theater, concerts. Frivolous, he thought. His children went, told him about them. He listened to stories instead of making memories. None took his family to Europe. His wife wanted to. His children wanted to. Maybe later, he always said. Later never came. She died. They grew up. The moment passed. Never celebrated lavishly. Not his birthday, not Christmas, not achievements. Always modest. Always frugal. Always saving money. For what? For death? At 95, someone asked him his biggest financial regret. Not an investment mistake. Not a bad deal. His answer, I wish I'd spent $10,000 taking my family to Europe when I was 40. I had millions. I kept the money, lost the memory. Terrible trade. $10,000. To him, that was nothing. But he couldn't spend it, couldn't permit himself. His frugality became a prison, and he served a life sentence. I would give everything to be young again. The 5th lesson is the most poignant, the most heartbreaking, the most universally true. At 92, Rockefeller was asked, if you could have anything, what would it be? His answer shocked everyone. I would give every dollar I have to be 25 again. Every single dollar. All $400 billion for my youth back. The weight of age. Let me tell you what Rockefeller felt at 90. The reality of being old, even with unlimited wealth. He couldn't walk far, tired quickly, needed assistance. His billions couldn't give him energy, couldn't give him strength, couldn't give him vitality. He couldn't eat most foods. Digestive system never fully recovered. Restricted diet, carefully managed meals. He could buy any food in the world, couldn't eat it. He couldn't do activities, no hiking, no swimming, no dancing, no physical adventures. His money could provide opportunities, his body couldn't seize them. He couldn't reverse time. Hair never grew back, health never fully restored, years never returned. Money is powerful, but time is more powerful. He said, at 90, I can buy anything, but I can't do anything. What good is money if you can't use it to live? What youth gives you. Here's what Rockefeller realized too late. What youth provides that wealth cannot purchase. Energy. To work, play, create, explore without exhaustion. To have full days, multiple activities, endless capacity. Youth has this, age doesn't. Money can't buy it. Health. To eat anything, do anything, go anywhere without pain or limitation. to feel good, to have a body that works. Youth has this naturally. Age fights for it. Money helps, but can't guarantee it. Time, decades ahead, room for mistakes, opportunity to try again, to pivot, to explore. Youth has time abundance. Age has time scarcity. Money can't create time. Possibility. When you're young, anything is possible. Any path is available. Any dream is pursuable. Age closes doors, limits options, narrows paths. Money can't reopen what time has closed. Rockefeller had infinite money at 90, but he didn't have energy, health, time, or possibility, and he'd trade all the money to have them back. The choice young people don't see. Here's what young Rockefeller didn't understand, what young people rarely understand, what you need to understand right now. You're trading the most valuable thing for the least valuable thing. You're trading time for money, youth for wealth, possibility for profit. And this trade seems smart when you're young. I'll work hard now, enjoy later. This was Rockefeller's plan. This is most people's plan. But later, you realize you traded diamonds for dollars. Time is the diamond. Money is the dollar. Diamonds are rare. Dollars are common. You made a terrible trade, but you can't undo it. Rockefeller at 90, talking to his grandson Nelson. You're 25. You think you have forever. You don't. Your body feels invincible. It's not. You think you'll enjoy life later. You won't. Not like you could now. Don't make my mistake. Live now. Don't wait. Poor people can't choose. They must work to survive. Rich people can choose, but often choose wrong. They work to accumulate. Wise people work enough, but live fully. They balance present and future. The price of later. Let me tell you what later cost Rockefeller. The specific price of postponing life. He'd say, I'll travel Europe later. Later came. He was too old, too frail, too sick. Never went. The Eiffel Tower, the Colosseum, the Alps. Saw them in pictures, not in person. He'd say, I'll spend time with family later. Later came. His children were grown. His wife was gone. His time was no longer wanted. The opportunity had passed. He'd say, I'll enjoy life later. Later came. He couldn't enjoy much. Body wouldn't allow it. Mind was willing. Body was failing. He'd say, I'll relax later. Later came. But decades of stress had created permanent anxiety. He could stop working, couldn't stop worrying. The pattern was set. Every later cost him. Every postponement was a loss. Every after I build my wealth became I built my wealth but lost my life. At 95, every time I said later, I was lying to myself. Later never comes. Not the later you imagine. By the time later arrives, you've changed. Circumstances have changed. The opportunity is gone. Later is a lie we tell ourselves to justify not living now. Using youth wisely. Here's what Rockefeller wished he'd done at 25, 30, 35. His direct advice to young people. Travel while young. Your body can handle it. Your spirit craves it. Your mind is open to it. Don't wait until you're old and tired. See the world now. Take risks while young. You can recover from failure. You have time to rebuild. You have energy to try again. Age reduces risk tolerance. Youth is risk's best time. Build relationships while young. Invest in friendships, in love, in family. These deepen over time. Starting them old is hard. Maintaining them from youth is natural. Experience life while young. Adventures, challenges, new things. Your capacity is highest now. Your enthusiasm is strongest now. Your body is most capable now. Create memories while young. These are your wealth in old age. Money in the bank doesn't comfort you. Memories do. Stories do. Experiences do. Don't sacrifice all of youth for future wealth. Sacrifice some, save some, invest some, but live fully throughout. Balance present and future. Don't trade all of now for later. Never sacrifice inner peace plus applying all 7 lessons today. The 7th and final lesson encompasses everything, the foundation under all other lessons, the truth that took Rockefeller longest to learn. Inner peace is the ultimate wealth. At 97, 1 year before death, he said, "I spent 50 years chasing external success, then spent 47 years learning that internal peace is what mattered all along." The turbulent decades. Let me describe Rockefeller's inner state for most of his life. The constant turmoil, the endless anxiety. Age 20 to 50, never at peace, always worried about competition, about regulations, about losing everything, about not being enough, about staying on top. He couldn't enjoy success because he feared losing it, couldn't relax because competitors never relaxed, couldn't be present because he was always planning the future. Insomnia, stress, anxiety, worry, fear. These were his constant companions, more constant than joy, more present than peace, more familiar than happiness. He won every external battle, lost every internal battle, dominated his industry, was dominated by his mind, controlled the market, couldn't control his thoughts. At 60, retiring, a doctor told him, "You've achieved everything, but you're miserable. Success hasn't brought you peace. Maybe peace is what you actually needed all along." That conversation changed everything. Finding peace. From 60 onward, Rockefeller sought what he'd never sought before: inner peace. Not external success, not more wealth, not greater achievement, just peace. He started meditating, praying, walking in nature, reading philosophy, practicing gratitude, learning to let go, to accept, to be present, to breathe. He simplified his life, reduced possessions, limited decisions, created routines, removed stressors, protected his mental space. He forgave people, released grudges, ended conflicts, made peace with enemies, freed himself from resentment. He practiced contentment. Enough is enough. He had enough, more than enough. He stopped chasing more, started appreciating what was, and slowly, gradually, over years, he found it. Peace. Real peace. Internal calm. Mental quiet. Emotional stability. At 80, someone asked, "What's your greatest achievement?" Everyone expected building Standard Oil. His answer? Learning to be at peace. Everything else I built. This I discovered. And it's worth more than everything I built combined.